أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة لأهل التقوى واليقين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين بالقاسم محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وآله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائه مجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله. ولادة حضرت السيدة سلام عليها فاطمة الزهراء عليه الصلاة والسلام. Mubarak to everyone. Okay, so lesson number 18, if I'm not mistaken. Each time it's 18. It's about the free will and determinism. Well, determinism and free will. Jabru ikhtiyar. And there's a long debate in the history of the Muslims about free will and determinism. So can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Jabro ikhtiyar. Basically, Jabr determinism means that we are all compelled to do everything that we're doing. Unfortunately, due to not understanding the Holy Quran properly and not understanding the teachings of the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and not taking the Holy Quran's teachings and the teachings of the Holy Prophet from the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, many, even Muslims, misunderstood the whole concept of free will and determinism. And many have gone down the line of believing that we have complete free will. God has no role in it. Yes, we do have free will, irada and ikhtiyar. Ikhtiyar means free will. Irada means intention. So we make our intentions and we have a free will. But it doesn't mean that we have complete control of our affairs. Amir al-Mu'minin Ali ibn Talib says, I have come to know God through the breaking of the decisions of the people. So when people make intentions, they still cannot accomplish the intentions they make. So we make intentions, we make strong intentions. I will surely do this. Many times we are successful in those intentions that we make to do something, and many times we are unsuccessful. So therefore, we do have free will, but we do not have complete free will. That we decide every single thing about ourselves. We do not decide everything. We make our decisions in the actions we take, but we do not decide our fate. Why? Likewise, determinism, jabr. We are not born majboor. Majboor meaning with compulsion, or determinism, that everything is predestined. That Allah has written our destiny, and we are only acting out a script. Again, some Muslims believe that we have a taqdeer, we have, inshallah, in the next lesson, meaning today, later today, we will discuss the divine decree and the destiny. That everything is destined. Allah has written our destiny, and we are acting accordingly. So this is again because of not referring to the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Many of the Muslims have misunderstood the whole concept of free will and determinism. Some Muslims believe, so there are two schools of thought in the Sunni world, the old schools of thought, the Ash'arites and the Mu'tazilites. That's what they're called in English. In Arabic, Ash'arites are called Ash'ira, and Mu'tazilites are called Mu'tazila. The Ash'arites are called Ash'arites because they are from a Muslim scholar whose name was Abul Hasan Ash'ari. Abul Hasan Ash'ari. He was the grandson or the great-grandson of Abu Musa Ash'ari. Abu Musa Ash'ari was in Siffin, you all recall, who went for Hakamiyat from the side of Imam Islam without his consent. He wasn't happy with him. But anyway, so Ash'arites today, like you have the Wahhabi Sunnis and the normal Sunnis or the Bareli Sunnis, or Sufi Sunnis. But there are many, many different sects. You cannot just put them all into one category. So Ash'arites are like Wahhabis and Mu'tazilites are like Sunnis. Don't hold me, don't hold this against me. But this is in general. Okay. Now, Ash'arites, Abul Hasan Ash'ari, he believed that everything is predestined, or determinism. Determinism is that we are born with a destiny. Allah has already written our fate, and we are just acting, and we are not responsible for our good deeds or bad deeds. Unfortunately, all of these lead to wrong concepts and wrong decisions. And many times they did not understand what it would lead to. So when you believe that when we build a fire, Allah puts heat in it, this is the predestined people. When you eat food, Allah makes it digested. So there's no system. No, it's not like that. Allah has created everything with a system. Whenever you build fire, there will automatically be heat. When you eat food, your body system will start to digest. Yes, Allah makes sure, He has created a system that everything goes to the right place. Unless, if, for example, the windpipe, as we call it in English, is divided into two parts, where basically you also take the wind through it, and that goes into the lungs. And then when you use the same windpipe for food, it basically blocks the lungs and it just takes it into the stomachs. And if the system doesn't block it, then the food may enter a little into lungs, and that may kill you. So, but Allah has created a system. Everything is running in a system. For example, it is in the nature of animals, a lion or a wolf, that they will attack. Allah does not come and place His hand on the face of the lion or the wolf to stop it from eating a child. Can He stop him? Yes, He can. But everything runs in a system. Everything runs based on how Allah has created everything. So it is not that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the point gives heed to the. So none of these, there is no compulsion, complete compulsion. So Abu Hasan Ash'ari, the Ash'arites, believed that everything is predestined, and therefore we have no control over our affairs, and we make an intention to do good or not make an intention makes no difference, because everything is predestined. It's wrong. The second concept was, Wasil ibn Atta. I'm just double-minded if his name is Atta ibn Wasil or Wasil ibn Atta. I think it's Wasil ibn Atta. He deviated from that path and he said, no, I don't believe this. And that's why they're called Mu'tazila, the people who left the path. So this was the main school of thought of the Sunni brothers, Ash'arites, and then Wasil ibn Atta came and said, no, I don't agree with it. Around 82 Hijrah. So they are around, the same time, and he founded the school of thought of the Mu'tazilites or Mu'tazila. Mu'tazila, the ones who do i'tizal, the ones who leave the path. So the general Sunni masses believe that everything is predestined. He came and said, no, everything is complete free will. Allah has no control or no role. He's just like a farmer who placed a seed, and we have complete free will. It is our intention and our free will that we decide everything, and Allah has no role in it. So these two schools of thought started developing. Maulana Syed was born in about 82 Hijrah. So this is a time of Imam Sadiq al-Islam. Imam Sadiq al-Islam's Imamate begins in about 114 Hijrah. Wasil ibn Atta. Okay, someone checked it. Wasil ibn Atta. I've been out all day just for the vaccine, and I'm so tired. I just prepared everything, and obviously this is prior knowledge. And I prepared the lesson in last an hour or so. So Wasil ibn Atta, he came and opposed, and Imam Sadiq Islam from 114 after the Shahadat of Imam Baqir Islam, he took over the Imamat, and he, as he was laying the school of, Ja'fari, Fiqh Ja'fari, again Kalam. So there are three schools of thought in Ilm Kalam, in theology. Asharites, Mu'tazilites, and the Shias are called Imamiyya or Imami. The Imami school of thought is Imam Sadiq al-Islam, or the ones who believe in the Imams. In fiqh, there are 5 schools of thought. 4 are Madhahib Arba, Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik, Imam Shafi, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. And their teacher, direct teacher of Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam Malik. Imam Abu Hanifa studied only 2 years under Imam Sadiq, but Imam Malik studied about 7 years under Imam Sadiq. And then Imam Shafi studied under Imam Malik, and Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal studied under Imam Shafi'i. So they're all directly or indirectly students of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. So the 4 fiqh schools. And the 5th and above them is fiqh Ja'fari. So in fiqh we are called Ja'fari, and in Kalam we are called Imami or Imamiyya, the Imami school of thought. And anyway, so now in sometimes we side with Asharites, sometimes with Mu'tazilites, and sometimes we don't side with either of the two. So basically, the Mu'tazilites and the Shia or the Imamiyya believe in Adl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Asharites, not that they don't believe, but they say, well, inshallah, next week we will cover Adalat and I'll discuss it there. So far I had actually avoided mentioning the different schools of thought. I just wanted to mention the Shia, but here I had to go to the root of this entire debate, where it started from. And the debate leads us to, in the time of Imam Sadiq Islam, where, one school of thought was saying everything is predestined, we're all majboor, everything is jabr or determinism. And the other school was saying that no, everything is free will. So this is called in Arabic tafweed. Tafweed is batil. Tafweed, and there is ikhtiyar and there is tafweed. Tafweed is, like, so anyone who believes in tafweed, te, fe, waw, ye, and dad, like walad, tafweed. So this tafweed is basically anyone who believes in tafweed is called mufawwada, meaning complete free will. And that Allah relinquished his power and gave it to someone else, for example. So mufawwada, basically, we don't believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given. When we believe in vilayat of the Holy Prophet ﷺ and the Aimam, we don't believe in tafweed, that he no longer has a power, he has given it to them. No, we believe that he is still the Rabb, and they have vilayat, he has the vilayat mutlaq. Anyway, so it is in length and not in, in philosophy there's a whole debate in length and in width. Everyone paying attention to this? So Tul and Ard. So the Aimam Salam's vilayat is Tuli, in line with Allah's vilayat, and not parallel to Allah's. So not in Arab. So they're not next to Allah's, parallel to Allah's. It is in line with Allah's vilayat. So they believe that, Allah has given complete vertical and horizontal as well, you can say. So in different, like in mathematics, they use the term vertical and horizontal, and in philosophy they use and logic. Every science has a different terminology. Theology. So we are saying that it is vertically the wilayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The wilayat of Ahlul Bayt is in vertically from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anyway, so now they believed in tafweed, meaning that Allah has given complete, He relinquished His power to His servants. So He created us, the human beings, and He left us, and He left the whole power to us, and we have complete freedom. So the people came to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam and said, Maula, which one is true? Are we completely compelled to do everything, or do we have complete free will? The Imam alayhi salam said the famous sentence. He said, La jabra wa la tafweed, walakin al-amru bayna al-amrayn. There isn't complete compulsion nor complete free will. Rather, it is in between the two. So this is from the time of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, where he said the famous sentence, La jabra wa la tafweed, walakin al-amru bayna al-amrayn. Walakin al-amra bayna al-amrayn. So it is, in between the two, or walakin al-amru bayna al-amrayn. Now, we have something similar from Imam Ali alayhi salam, where Imam Ali alayhi salam was asked by a person. He said, Ya Ali, how much free will do I have, and how much compulsion is it from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? He said, stand up. The person stood up. He said, lift your foot while standing up. So he picked up one foot. He said, lift the other. He said, if I lift the other, then I'll drop. He said, that's how much free will you have, when you can lift one foot and you can still stand on the other. And if you lift the other, then you will drop. So that's how much compulsion you have. So are they exactly 50-50? Could they be 40-60 or 45-55? We don't know, but roughly, they have said that this is, it is in between. It is not complete compulsion, nor complete free will. It is in between. Now, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us istita'at, the capability, and He has given us a free will. So we are responsible for our own actions. So when I sin with my free will, then I'm responsible for my sin. And I'll be punished for it. And Allah has the right to punish me or forgive me. And when I do something good, then I deserve reward, because I have done it with my own free will and my own actions. But if you say that there is no free will, then there is compulsion, and then there is no reward and no punishment. Then you don't deserve a reward and punishment. But then there is a question and there is an objection some people have raised, that everything is in Allah's knowledge. It is in Allah's prior knowledge. Allah knows if a person is going to do something evil or not. Allah knew from before that Yazid is going to kill Imam Hussain. So then Allah did not stop him, so it was in His knowledge. So therefore, He has compelled Yazid to kill Imam Hussain. People have misunderstood it. Allah's prior knowledge to things does not mean that He imposes it onto the people. He knew what Yazid may do or will do, but He did not compel Yazid. He did not force Yazid to kill Imam Hussain. He did not impose it on Yazid to kill Imam Hussain. For example, in my class, I say, well, these two boys will fail. Not that I'm going to force them to fail. These two boys are not studying well. They are always messing about. They never attend the class. So the teacher, from the behavior of the students, knows that they will fail. Not that he's going to compel them to fail, that I will not make sure that even if they get the passing mark, I'll fail them. No. This is only an example. So Allah's prior knowledge to things does not mean that He is imposing it upon people to do those things. He knows what someone will do good, because He knows everything. alimun bidhati sudur. So he knows that someone will do good, but he's not imposing it on that person to do good and reward him. He knows someone will do bad, but he's not imposing it on that person to do evil so that Allah can punish him. Okay? So therefore, there is no compulsion from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is free will. Inshallah, you ask a question. So, okay, here I finished lesson number 18. So roughly I have given you an outline, more than some things more, some things less. And then lesson number 19. And next week, inshallah, we'll do adl. In lesson 19, Adl Yazid discusses qada wa qadr. Qada wa qadr. Qada and qadr. The divine decree, qadr, and qada is basically the term decree is used for qada, and destiny is qadr. Now, qadr is like taqdeer. In Urdu and Farsi, we say taqdeer. In Arabic, the term destiny, qadr, means measure, and that for predetermination. Taqdeer means measurement, or measuring and building something according to a specific size. And the term qadr, qada, is used with the meaning of bringing to an end, accomplishing and arbitrating. Occasionally, qada qadr are used as synonyms in Arabic to both mean destiny. By destiny, it is implied that God has decided the measure and limits of time, space, quantity, and quality of a phenomena that are realized through the influence of gradual causes and agents. Divine decree means the ultimate and inevitable stage reached by a phenomenon after the manifestation of its preliminaries, causes, and conditions. So qada qadr basically means that taqdeer ilahi, the things which are decreed. Now, what is qada of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? In Surah Yasin, Allah says, idha qada amran, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intends something, when he decrees something, innama yaqulu lahu kun fayakun. So when he decides on a matter, he just says to it, be, and it is. That is called qada, and the divine decree. Some have argued that they are different because of the hadith of Imam Ali. Again, people have unfortunately not referred to Ahlul Bayt, and they have tried to understand the Holy Quran by themselves, because some people actually gave the slogan, Hasbuna Kitabullah, the book of Allah is sufficient for us. And many Muslims do that. They say, then we'll understand the Quran by ourselves. And that's where they make mistakes and misunderstand. Now, Imam Ali was sitting next to a wall reading Quran or reading something. And he suddenly saw that the wall is tilted. It was, like olden days, so a wall made of mud. And he was about to drop. So he moved out. So a man started laughing at Imam Ali and said, Ya Ali, are you escaping from the qada of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Are you escaping from the destiny of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Imam Ali said, no, I'm taking refuge in the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from his, and qadr meaning his divine decree, from his destiny. So Allah has made these decisions, and they appear on the Lawh Mahfuz according to the Quran and Hadith, the protected tablets. And anyone who has access to Lawh Mahfuz will know the protected tablets, will know what Allah's divine decree is. And so the prophets and the Imams of Islam can see Allah's will. And that's how they inform people of what their destiny is or what's going to happen to them or where they are going to. In Surah Ra'd, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَمْحُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ وَيُثْبِتُ وَعِنْدَهُ أُمُّ الْكِتَابِ. Whatever Allah, Allah faces and confirms whatever He wishes. With Him is the mother of the books. يَمْحُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ وَيُثْبِتُ. I think this translation is not accurate. يَمْحُ اللَّهُ يَشَاءُ. Allah deletes or obliterates whatever He wants. يَمْحُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ. So mahaf, He obliterates, deletes whatever He wants. وَيُثْبِتُ. And He confirms whatever He wants. وَعِنْدَهُ أُمُّ الْكِتَابِ. And He has the mother of the books. So He can, when He writes your destiny, He can change it. He can change your destiny. So there is a destiny which can be changed, and then there is the confirmed destiny which does not change. So there is the conditional or conditional destiny, and then there is the non-inevitable destiny. So in inevitable, you can't, something you can't avoid, something you can. For example, Masoom says that, I don't know, a person is going to have an accident, and if they give sadaqah, they'll be protected from that accident. But it is in Allah's knowledge if the person will give sadaqah or not. Doesn't mean that He imposes it on him. And sometimes even if you give sadaqah, you will still have a destiny to die or through something, or I don't know. So Allah has a decision, and so there can be of two types: hatmi and ghair hatmi. Now, anything which is ghair hatmi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can change. Allah can't change anything. But for example, it was certain, for example, my death is written that I'm going to die in Najaf. Inshallah. Then no one can change it. But for example, I may die in an accident before that. Then I may give sadaqah to avoid it. That's called ghair hatmi. Ghair hatmi means conditional, and hatmi means unconditional. So we have destiny, taqdeer, and we don't deny taqdeer, but we don't say that. So meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the upper hand. Even if I have a bad fate, He can change it. So I should pray more, I should give more sadaqah, I should do more tawassul for Him to change it. But I do still have a role in my decisions, in my good deeds and bad deeds. So there is no contradiction between the two. Again, they're in line, they are vertical, they're not parallel to each other. They're in line with each other. Again, Asharites and Mu'tazilites have difference of opinion here. The Asharites believe that Allah's destiny determines the actions of His creation. And the Mu'tazilites believe that no, we decide our own destiny. And the Imamiyyas believe that it is again in between. Sometimes, we can pray and decide. We can change through prayer, through sadaqah, through tawassul, through so many things. But final decision is Allah's. If He still decides that it is not good for us, He will not grant us what we want. Now, a few points he has mentioned, I'll quickly read those out. The genuine doubt mentioned is that if human action is based upon the will of man, then how can one establish the relationship between it and divine decree? And if it is grounded upon divine decree, then how can it be known to be the choice of man or be in accordance with the human violation, human volition? Okay. Hence, on this basis, for the refutation of doubts and for the combination of human volition and divine will, one must demonstrate the different proofs for providing that an effect can have several causes in a way that the different voluntary actions, fail of man, are related to human volition and also to divine decree. Now, the Ms. Bayezi mentioned a few points. I'll quickly read those out. 4 points on page 152. I don't know your page number, but different types of effectuality from distinctive causes. The effect of several causes in the appearance of a phenomenon can be imagined in the following ways. Number one, certain causes simultaneous with each other can cause an effect, such as the combination of water, rain, and temperature, etc., that influence a seed to sprout and grow into a plant. Okay, so he says grain, but it is rain. Okay. So for a plant to grow, you need many causes. And sometimes, so there are many causes that are giving one effect. So there is only one effect, that one plant growing. There are many causes. Two, each and every one of the causes influences a phenomenon alternatively during the duration of that phenomenon's existence, such as the flight of an aircraft being dependent or influenced alternatively by several machines. So an aeroplane has wings, engine, the tail, all of those together. When they're put together, it becomes an aeroplane for it to fly me. So that's how sometimes, there are many different elements or many different um, factors, many different factors that actually lead to one action or one result. Number three, their effectuality in relation to each other is sequential, like the collision of a number of balls with each other in a chain. Another example is the effect of the intention of man upon the hand or to write and the effect of the hand upon the pen. So sometimes it is sequential, so it is a flow that until I make the niyat, for example, for me to deliver this lecture, I made the intention, niyat or irada, not niyat, irada. I made the irada, I made the intention to deliver this lecture. So I made the irada, so I made the intention, I prepared and came, now I'm sitting down delivering this lecture. So they may be sequential, one after the other. So it is not just that this lecture happened. Number four, effectuality is consequent upon a number of vertically ascending causes in such a fashion that the existence of each one depends on the existence of the other. This is unlike the assumption above, where the pen was not dependent upon the hand and the hand was not contingent upon the intention. So sometimes the things depend upon different things for them to happen. If this does not happen, then that will not happen. If that doesn't happen, then the consequences will not be. So sometimes, we cannot just say that we have complete control over things. We may do our part, and then it is upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us success. So you have to do your part, play your role, play your part, and then leave it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you success. he answers one doubt. I'll quickly read the doubt and then answer the answer. With the explanation provided, it has become clear that relating the voluntary actions of man to God, the Supreme, is not contradictory. However, divine will and human will are considered as being vertically situated with respect to each other and thus do not clash. So they are again vertically. So you can say, yes, Allah made me do it, meaning Allah gave me the power to do this good deed. And sometimes people even relate their sins to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rabbi bima aghwaytani. Shaitan says to Allah, oh Allah, you misguide. Allah does not misguide. When he, for example, he says he guides and he misguides in the Holy Quran. Yahdillahu. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides and he misguides. He doesn't misguide. According to the teachings of Ahlul Bayt, he only guides. Misguidance from him is not like shaitan misguiding. Misguidance is to withdraw the guidance. He just withdraws the guidance and then shaitan knows that he can take over and misguide you. Did everyone get that? So, for example, good and evil is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No, only good is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Evil is not from Allah. Absence of good is evil from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we need to understand, in other words, the contingency of the action and the human agent is on the level, and the existence will, with respect to God, the Supreme, is on a high level. On that level, the existence of man himself, the existence of the substance of his deeds, and that upon which it acts, and the existence of the instruments by which he achieves his intention are always dependent upon him, upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So sometimes we make the intention, but for the intention to be successful, we need Allah's help and Allah's assistance and Allah's authorization. So you cannot just say that, yes, it is Allah, it is from Allah, and you cannot say it is not from Allah. You do not intend except for that Allah, but you do not wish unless it is wished by Allah, the Lord of the worlds. Okay, finally, and then I'll allow you to ask questions. What does it do to believe in the, the belief upon destiny and decree, the divine destiny, the destiny and the divine decree? Okay, the belief in divine destiny and decree, apart from being an important level of knowing God, the originator of human perfection in the dimension of the intellect, has many other effects, some of which have already been discussed, and we will mention a few more below. So what does it do if you believe in qada qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Well, he says that we've mentioned some, we'll mention a few more here. One who believes in the return of all occurrences to the wise will be God, which is related to the idea of divine decree and destiny, will never be afraid or confused with regards to these occurrences. Furthermore, such a person will not despair during fear and suffering, but will see such incidents as the divine plan of God and will gladly welcome them and master the great art of patience, trust, and submission. Moreover, the joys and the status of the world, which lead towards arrogance and intoxication, will not carry him away. These are those very effects which the noble Quran has mentioned. The Quran in Surah Hadid says, ما أصاب من مصيبة في الأرض ولا في أنفسكم إلا في كتاب من قبل أن نبرأ إن ذلك على الله يسير لكي لا تأسوا على ما فاتكم ولا تفرحوا بما آتاكم والله لا يحب كل مختال فخور. No affliction visits the earth or yourselves, but it is in a book before we bring it about. That is indeed easy for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that you may not grieve for what escapes you, nor exult for what comes your way. And Allah does not like any swaggering braggart. So anyone who's arrogant, So Allah subhanahu, so what good comes to you is mentioned in the book. Now, does it mean that we have no role in it? No. In the next few verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explains that no. In every instance, one must remember that a false understanding concerning destiny and decree are independent, effectually will result in accepting oppression, irresponsibility, and indolence. However, one must know that felicity and success, and also the eternal misfortune of man, hinge upon the outcome of his actions. So the Noble Quran says, whatever good whatever good it earns, the soul earns, is to its benefit, and whatever evil it incurs is to its harm. And that nothing belongs to man except what he thrives for. So we should strive. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, whatever you strive for. So there is no contradiction between saying that everything is predestined, that we believe in taqdeer, and we also believe in destiny. So taqdeer, the decree, the divine decree. So Allah can change it, but He may decree certain things. So there is no contradiction. This is qada wa qadr, and Imam have said that if you do not understand them, do not deny them. Just say that we do not understand. Allah knows best what they are. So we'll leave it at this. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين. We will allow you to ask questions.
Let's see if we have any questions. So one question was by me in the chat. When you were talking about the Lawh Mahfuz, and you were explaining, how when we say that the destiny is written, it's more of a record, and I just put a terminology there to say that would it be correct to say that it's more of a record instead of a script? The script makes it more like programming, but when it's a record, it's a record of what will happen.
Yes, it is a record, not a script.
Exactly. And we don't really have...
that it is in scripture. Did I say script? It is, in the divine tablets. So they are Lawh Mahfuz. They're not a script. They are like scriptures, which are, like things appear there for Masumin alayhi salam, people very high, not us.
Jazakallah. I think there's a question in relation to corona. Yeah, I didn't quite get it. It says, so can we use corona vaccine to protect ourselves from the disease?
Yeah, you can get that. So Allah may have sent an illness as a trial, but then He gives the knowledge to many people to find a vaccine, to invent a vaccine, and then you can get the vaccine to protect yourself. So, and when there is an ilaj or when there is a cure, then you cannot say, I'm not going to take the cure.
Jazakallah. There's a question, is Hatmi and Ghair Hatmi both written in Lawh Mahfuz?
Hatmi in Lawh Mahfuz. So in Hatmi and Ghair Hatmi both may be written in Lawh Mahfuz, which the infallibles may have access to. and they can see that, okay, this is ghair hatmi, and if he gives sadaqah, then he may escape from this.
Okay.
That's hence they may advise him to give sadaqah.
Jazakallah. Another question. The incident where Hazrat Musa alayhi salam was told that this man will die, but he didn't. So
Hazrat
is
Isa,
that... Okay, it says Musa, but...
Hazrat Isa alayhi salam was passing by with his Hawari, like, his disciples. And he said that, today there is celebration here. There was a wedding going on. And tomorrow there will be, people will be weeping here. So they passed by. When they came back the next day, they were still happy. He said, well, there is, people are still celebrating. So no. He said, yes, Allah had informed me that, they were going to die, but because they gave sadaqah, if you check under the bed of the bride and the bridegroom, there is a snake, a python, who would have killed them both. And people would have been weeping and in sorrow. They went and checked, and the snake could not come out to kill them. So they said, how did that happen? And he said, Allah informed me because they gave sadaqah. That's why they escaped the accidental death. So accidental death is like ghair hatmi, or it could be happening, but depending that someone's destiny was that he's going to be killed like that. But a lot of the times, many of those are ghair hatmi.
Jazakallah. Also, the term bada comes up as well. I guess it's
So
related
bada
to...
is basically like when ghair hatmi, when it is not, when it is conditional, then Allah may change it, and that's called bada. So basically, bada is when it is conditional and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changes it. That, okay, this is conditional, the death was conditional, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changes it, and that's called bada. So Imam Syed says that it was usually the oldest son gets the imamate, and Imam Syed says that in my case, his youngest son, Imam Musa got the imamate, and the oldest son Ismail died. So that was bada. So it was his, so he died. So it was conditional that had he been perfect, that he would have got the imamate, but he died within the lifetime of Imam Sadiq al-Islam, and he died young. And Imam wrote on his coffin that Ismail used to give witness that there is no. But people after him still believed in him to be Imam. And then his other son claimed to be Imam, like Abdullah Aftah. So that's called bada. So the youngest son was given Imam.
Okay, thank you. There's a few more questions coming. If we do a good job, but it doesn't work, is that in the destiny? If we try and do a good job and something doesn't work?
No, not necessarily it's in destiny, but sometimes it may save you from something else. So it all depends. You cannot just say those things very openly or clearly, because I don't have access to the Lawh Mahfuz to say. The only, the Holy Prophet or the Imam Salam can say that, yes, this was. But what we do know that, yes, there is a system. For example, two people were drowning. Once lived, once saved his life, the other one didn't. So was it, like a person tried to save both of them, but he managed to only save one? Was the other person, was it written in his destiny that he's going to die drowning? And was this, conditional for the other one, that his death was also written, but, he lived through it? Who knows for certain? But we do know, yes, there is something like that. For everyone, we cannot say for certain. Only Masumeen can say for certain.
Exactly. And then one of the, I think it's quite a common question in regarding to Rahib and his having children. We normally hear that Rahib went to the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, and his family, and then he ended up with Imam Hussain al-Islam, and eventually he ended up having children. So the question really is,
a lot of people ask, like have a lot of debates on this whole story. So even if the story is not true, do the Imam alayhi salam have that power that they can pray? And of course. So when, for example, they say, the Christian monks don't get married. So if a person, let's say a person went to the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so he saw in his غير حتمي conditional destiny that he doesn't have children. So it's conditional that he will not have children, not unconditional. So it was not that in his taqdeer, they were, it was decided hatman that he doesn't have it. No, it was ghair hatman. And Imam Sallallahu dua changed it. Is that possible? Of course. Even a mother can pray and change the taqdeer and the destiny of a child. So the Imam Sallallahu is special. So anyways, these are hatmi and ghair hatmi. Does it make sense? Or do I need to explain it more?
Alhamdulillah, made sense. I believe we will see from the question, the person who provided the question, if they can confirm in the chat. There's a question regarding sadaqah. Can sadaqah be given to a non-believer in case of non-availability of a needy believer?
Sadaqah can be given to anyone, to believer, non-believer, but there is more thawab if you have like for example, a deserving person who's disbeliever, doesn't believe in God, and a deserving person who believes in God. So who deserves it more? There are two deserving people, so then you give it to the person who believes in God, because he believes in God, that's why he deserves it more. So then there is a person who believes in God but doesn't believe in the Holy Prophet, and then you got two people, one who both believe in God, but one believes in the Holy Prophet, the other one doesn't. Who deserves it more? The one who believes in the Holy Prophet ﷺ as well. And for example, then you have a person who believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are two people who both believe in Allah, both believe in the Holy Prophet, both believe in the Quran, but don't believe in one believes in the Ahlul Bayt, the other one doesn't. Who deserves it more? The one who believes in the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. So you can give sadaqah to non-Muslim, but who deserves it more? The one who believes more. Otherwise, it is not wajib to give sadaqah to only a Muslim.
There's a couple more sadaqah related questions. One is to do with giving sadaqah to sayyids, whether it can be given or not. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so there is sadaqah and there is zakat. So the wajib sadaqah, like zakat, wajib sadaqah, only a sayyid can give to a deserving sayyid. A non-sayyid's wajib zakat is not permissible for a sayyid. Did everyone get that? For example, homes, if a sayyid gives or non-sayyid gives, half of it goes to sayyids anyway. But zakat, wajib sadaqah, which is zakat, like zakat fitra on Eid, you have two boxes, one for sayyids and one for non-sayyids. So wajib sadaqah, which is zakat, all the types of different zakat, a sayyid can receive it only from sayyids. But from non-sayyids, it is haram upon him. As-sadaqatu alayna haram. So it is, the Ahlul Bayt said, it is a haram upon us to receive sadaqah from the others, from other Muslims. So only a sayyid can give to a sayyid. That is unanimously agreed upon between the Shias. That what is haram is to receive from non-sayyid. Not that he cannot utilize any sadaqah or zakat. No, he cannot utilize the wajib sadaqah from a non-sayyid. But from a sayyid, he can. And what about the mustahab sadaqah? For example, a person says, I am giving sadaqah of Imam Zamana. This is not wajib. This is mustahab. Then the sadaqah of Imam Zamana or sadaqah of Imam Islam, or sadaqah of haram or ziyarat. Mustahab sadaqat you can give. Even non-sayyid can give to sayyid. Mustahab sadaqat. This is most of the ulama. Some say no, you should do ihtiyat, even not take it. Don't even take that from non-sayyid. Anyway, don't just follow your own marjas.
Inshallah. Thank you. One more sadaqah related from myself. So when we say that we should give sadaqah to to safeguard ourselves, or if somebody's ill, it's good to give it, and many other reasons. I've heard that until the sadaqah gets to the person in need, it doesn't have effect. Is that like
okay. Thank you. Sadaqah, there's a whole debate among scholars. Some scholars say that as soon as you make the niyat and you take out, then the effect of that sadaqah will happen. For example, taruddul bala, sadaqah to taruddul bala. Sadaqah removes bala, tribulation or problems. Most of the scholars believe that until you've taken it out, but until you give it to the deserving person, it does not have that effect. Unfortunately.
Okay, Jazakallah. And one other one which might be a cause of confusion for some people with regard to destiny, and there's people who do fortune telling of different types. If you can just give some guidance on that, inshallah.
Okay, that's why it is, according to some traditions, for example, fortune telling based on stars, like on horoscopes. What do you call them in English?
That's right, horoscopes.
Yeah. So, according to hadith, they're not completely inaccurate, but they are forbidden meaning because they're not accurate. And then people who completely rely upon those, then they don't rely upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, Imam al-Islam discouraged it very badly in the whole Quran and hadith, many hadiths. Likewise, so there are different sciences, different ulum. Ilm Jafar is permissible, but ilm, Ramalan. So there are different sciences, there are different specialities. Some are permissible, but not all. Like palmistry. There are so many, there's a whole long list of all of these different things. Some of those are permissible and some are not permissible.
Jazakallah. I think we've hit our 1 hour mark. Thank you, Maulana, for entertaining all the questions.
Thank you, everyone for listening. And Shabe Viladat Hazrat Fatima Zahra Salam Alaiha Mubarak to everyone. Please do remember us in your du'as as well. And inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the sake of Hazrat Fatima Zahra, accept your amal, your du'as, and may Janab Sayyida Salam Alaiha do shafaat for all of us on the Day of Judgment, and may she accept our ziyarat and our du'as. Thank you very much. Fi aman.